We've all seen Tesla is on a great run, but the question becomes, can it continue to sustain this run through the end of the year? That's right, you guessed it, Wall Streeters have something to say about it, so we're gonna listen to what they have to say, and then I'll let you guys know my exact opinion on what they're discussing, and we'll kind of see, is there more to this run, or is there not? So make sure you like the video if you like getting information like this, and if you like this style video, because I know this is a little bit different than the ones that I normally do. All right, so you guys know I've been pretty critical of Wall Streeters in the past because they're just, they're idiots, guys. I don't know how else to say it other than that. But in this case, there's some actual great points made and some things that are not so great. But either way, there's some great discussion points for us to go through to make sure we understand exactly where Tesla sits now and kind of some future things that are kind of brewing in the future as well. So some interesting stuff here. And the biggest discount ever for my group is still going on during the Cyber Week sale happening this week, where you get to see all my buy and sell alerts in real time. You get to see my watch list complete with price targets, take 5 courses free, use our stock analyzer tool for free. Guys, there's so much in there. Just check out the pinned comment down there and see if a membership's right for you before the price goes up forever. All right, so let's jump in this video and see what these guys have to say.
All right, so we're talking Tesla, one of your favorites, and yours and Andy's favorite, rebounded about 17-18% so far this month. It's had a good run, but it was disappointing earnings last quarter. You guys seeing any data out there that kind of justifies this move back higher?
Yeah, actually, you know what? We're seeing a lot of pretty strong data out of Tesla. This is one, as you alluded to, that we've been bullish on for quite some time, going back years, frankly. But we've been in and out of it, I guess, as an analyst. But overall, very bullish on Tesla. And some of the reasons that we're seeing that are, the data that can back it up are the mentions are up about 7% on a year-over-year basis. Most of that is actually fueled by the Model X and the Model Y, with, of course, the Cybertruck contributing a lot of buzz lately. So we're seeing, strong uptick in mentions on a year-over-year basis. Just a slight uptick, actually, but it's starting to move very strong.
All right, right there, right off the bat. I don't know. Mentions has zero to do with stock price. I could care less what anybody out there saying. That's called reaching. Whenever somebody asks you, hey, is there a reason for this move up here in Tesla? And the guy immediately goes to what, basically they were asking, what are you seeing? What data are you seeing? What is pushing it that way? And the best they can come up with, and the first thing right off the bat is mentions. Cool. I don't know. That's like saying, hey, I guess because, Tesla got a lot of likes the other day on a post I made. It must be the reason why the stock price is up. Like, that's not what they were asking for. And that's immediately the direction get. I understand he's a bull on the stock, but he's kind of giving away the answer to the question right there, which is there really isn't a good reason for the run outside of the fact the entire market's on a run right now and Tesla's kind of swept up in it, is my guess here. Maybe he's got something else coming. I don't know, but right now they even threw up a chart with the graph there in terms of mentions, and somehow that being an indicator as to where the stock's going. I'm sure sometimes there's correlation, but it's not causation, and there's a big difference between those two. So just kind of one of those things right there that I've noticed, and I'm bullish on Tesla, so don't get it mistaken. I'm bullish on Tesla, but a lot of times when bulls have nothing, they kind of move to things like this. In regards to action on the stock or why the stock should be higher or something else like that, when that's not actually the reality in regards to investing.
When we get to the web visits, it's very strong. It's about 62% on a year-over-year basis. So a lot more interest on Tesla.com. Obviously, that's where you would go before you buy. You're thinking about buying, you're checking it out. And I think a lot of that has to do with not only the buzz and the quality of the vehicles, but also the price. I mean, they have decreased the price by about 25% on a year-over-year basis, where almost every other car manufacturer is up on a year-over-year basis. Everything is getting more expensive in the U.S. except for Tesla cars, and so you can have a pretty good debate on what that means about the company. Are they in trouble? They can't sell them, therefore they've got to cut the price, or are they trying to scale to very high levels and get compete with much cheaper cars? And this is very bullish for the automaker. So it's tough to really to weigh in on that. I think it's a little bit of both, frankly. I mean, if they had the pricing power to keep them up, they would. Maybe they don't have as much, but it could be a factor of so much increased production that they've got to move these somehow, and they're getting out there and now they're competing with really cheap cars like a Corolla. I mean, this is something that you wouldn't.
Yep, I agree there. It's a combination of both. It's a strategic play, and again, Elon shown whenever they had crazy demand, he raised the price. So yeah, I agree. It's both. And again, this is part of one of the hard parts about owning Tesla is it gives the bulls and the bears a good narrative, right? Because they're both technically right. So, the bulls can say what they want to say in regards to demand. And of course, the bears are going to say, no, that actually proves our point in terms of lack of demand on the bear side. And when the reality is everything's not absolutes like that. the middle is usually the right answer. And in this case, I agree with him. It is.
Of 3 or 4 years ago. And so you can see that the Model X, the Model Y are definitely leading the way when it comes to year-over-year growth. We'll have the Cybertruck in there next year on a year-over-year basis. I think they've got their first 10 that are going to be delivered on Thursday of this week, and then they're going to ramp up production over the next year or two to about 5,000 units per week. So they're moving, and I haven't seen one in the wild yet. I'm looking forward to seeing one soon. Down here in South Florida, I'm sure I'll see a couple, but I can't wait to see what these things actually look like in person. And I'm sure we'll talk about it, but it doesn't look like a truck to me. But I'm a truck guy, but I still think it's interesting. I'd never own one, but I definitely want to see one. With those price cuts, though, their margins are decreasing.
Yep. My thoughts on Cybertruck are it's my favorite Tesla. I don't find any other Teslas attractive at all. Not at all. I like the X, just the gold wing doors. That was the only thing I liked about them. But if it didn't have that, I wouldn't even have. I'd have zero. I still have zero interest, but I'd have even less interest in any of the Tesla models. So for me, it's kind of almost, it looks like an 80s sci-fi vehicle, and that's why I like the Cybertruck. But is that going to translate over into disrupting the truck world or whatever the case is? I think there's a bit of a further stretch there. Again, it's getting me because it's kind of an outlandish type vehicle that looks super awesome and reminds me of my childhood. But, I don't know. I know a lot of other truck guys that have trucks, have always had pickup trucks, and they have no interest in it. But again, that's anecdotal. That doesn't tell us anything about the actual demand that will be out there for it. But, kind of like he said, it's kind of not really a truck. I'm not sure how truck viewers view that. Obviously comment down below if you guys have an opinion on that, especially if you're a truck guy. For me, I love it, but not because I think it's a truck and it's going to replace, my pickup truck out back. I don't have a pickup truck, I just would want one because of how, it looks like an 80s sci-fi vehicle.
I think from about down to about from 25% down to about 18%. So they're getting leaner, I guess, on the balance sheet or on the income statement, but their numbers are really ramping up. So they're still the clear leader when it comes to EVs, and they've got a lot of competition trying to catch up, but they're very, very far behind in the rearview mirror. Sorry, dad joke there, but they are leading the way very well when it comes to the EV market, and I wouldn't be surprised if this company is over 300 in the next 6 months.
Landon, there's the word that I think strikes.
It's interesting. 300 in the next 6 months. Possible. It could very well get a run up to that. I think most likely if we have another quarter where the numbers are disappointing, I don't think we get to that 300 unless we get to that 300 before the end of the quarter. Now, that right there is completely possible. We've seen Tesla go on all kinds of crazy 50% runs, 40% drops, and everything else in between. So wouldn't be surprised there at all. But if he's saying that, in addition to those earnings not coming in as what we think they're going to be because of the margins decreasing and everything else like that, that's going to be tough to get to 300 there. But hey, again, with Tesla, you never know. That's why I just stay invested. I don't even bother trading that. And that's why traders, everybody who trades this stock seems to, they get some right, but they get a lot wrong. And it's just a very, very difficult stock to trade and to get there. It's just a very difficult stock to trade and to actually do it with any sort of degree of accuracy.
Fear in the heart of Tesla shareholders and a lot of different sectors. It should be striking a fear right now in the hearts of AI holders, and that is competition. Because competition from domestic players in China, competition from Ford, GM, not doing a great job of competing there, but there is some competition. Rivian seems to be starting to get in the game here, but the valuation of Tesla, its valuation is bigger than Ford and GM combined. This is a company that is Elon Musk doing all the right things. That's the big question. Is he cutting prices to bury the competition, or is he cutting prices because he has? By the way, the numbers, Tesla, gross profit margin 17.89, so you were close at 18%. Ford 14.24, GM 12.1, Toyota still 20.7. So it's going to get interesting here, but competition is the word that should scare.
That was all over the map. I don't know where he was going with that, but Chinese competition, yeah, absolutely. They've shown the ability to ramp and everything else. Here in the U.S., and nobody's figured out how to ramp. Obviously, GM and Ford can't figure out how to make money. And I'm talking significant losses when they even try. That's not good. And of course, Rivian, I mean, they may be coming 5 years from now. But right now, they haven't ramped to a point where they're anywhere serious competition at all to Tesla. Again, outside of the Chinese manufacturers, which I agree 100% there, they're able to scale and produce great vehicles at that stage there. So outside of that, the rest of that, and that's probably the reason why I was all over the map, because he realized this is going nowhere. I need to just throw a bunch of word salad out there, and then everybody will gloss over the fact that I didn't say a whole lot.
Tesla stockholders, Landon.
I agree, but I mean, here's a little thought exercise. If I was going to tell you that one of the major auto manufacturers, including Tesla, was going to 5x over the next 10 years, who would you bet on?
Yes.
I mean, GM, Ford, they've had their opportunity to 5x. Tesla has shown that they can grow tremendously. And so this is a growth stock as much as it is a car manufacturing stock. I mean, they've shown significant insight with innovation. They've done a great job of just becoming a leader in so many different ways. And the fact that this drastic price cut now puts them basically in line with the competition, still on the high side when it comes to margins, is, I think, it's another sign that they were very high to begin with, but now they're coming in, and I think they're taking the competition out at the knees, frankly. The price parity is unbelievable. When you look out, you can go get a Model 3 for $28,000. That's unbelievable. 5 years ago, the first, what was it, the S? I think they were like 120,000. It was a dream car. It was an exotic car. And now, its little brother, the Model 3, which doesn't, obviously, it's not the same, but still, it's a Tesla. And there's a lot of cachet that goes along with that. 28,000 is a very low number for that car. Plus, they've got the supercharger network that they're absolutely dominating. They've shown that they're the ones that can execute that better than anyone. And their competition is moving over into that category. And they seem to always have this new product buzz. I know that, for a while there, it was the Model 3, and now it's the Cybertruck. The Model Y is taking off like crazy. So for a company with only a handful of models, they're really doing a great job of getting consumers interested. I mean, just compare how many models they have to Ford, GM, and the rest. It's striking difference, but it's still enough to kind of check something for almost everyone. I think they need a real pickup truck and a real SUV, but I still think that a lot of their vehicles check the box for a lot of consumers out there.
Yeah, Landon, when you look at this, you mentioned the supercharger network. I kind of wanted to explore that a little bit, because I think what people forget about is all the data that Tesla has. They do their software upgrades over air. If there's something wrong or they need to update it, they'll do it over air. But at the same time, if full self-driving becomes a thing, they've got more data than anybody. Is this going to be like the supercharger network, where Ford and GM already said they're going to use that? So they're going to be a licensing company pretty soon if that becomes reality, right? And that's probably where the margins are going to be the biggest, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, think about how far ahead. Yes, they're killing it when it comes to the supercharger network, but they're also extremely far.
Yep, I would take that. That's all pure profit, pretty much pure profit to the bottom line there. So that would be wonderful and really, really help, especially right now during the margin time. So, yep, nothing but pure profit there. Great point.
When it comes to self-driving, I mean, no one else is even close. They're putting time and effort into AI. They're competing with OpenAI now with their own version, and you can argue about which one of those is better. But it just shows you that they are committed to using technology to their advantage. And they're going to be first to self-driving, no doubt about it. And they're going to be far ahead. And then it's like you said, it's going to be a question of Ford saying, well, do we want to invest the billions and billions and the years that it's going to take to
keep in mind they'll be first here, definitely stateside. China, one of the Chinese automakers may get there, may not, who knows. I think that's the only realistic competition. I can't imagine GM or Ford are even pursuing it at this stage. Just don't think they're going to pursue it. Don't think any of the other major automakers are going to either. Like I said, it's going to be a Chinese automaker and Tesla, and that's going to be it in regards to full self-driving.
What Tesla is now, and then years later they'll still be far behind? Or do we want to license this technology somehow? I mean, there are other plays besides just the cars for Tesla. There's a lot of upside in there, and it seems like every avenue that they explore, they dominate. They're doing well with cars. The supercharger network, they're dominating. They're going to dominate self-driving. So if I have to own one of these car manufacturers, Tesla's in, it's just a completely separate class for me. And it's, like I said, it is the one that could 5X in the next 10 years, whereas the others are going to have to make hard decisions compete versus license and partner.
Yeah, we've already seen Ford and now.
Yep, won't argue there at all. We'll go ahead and end the video right there. There's no doubt if you're choosing, I don't know why, I consider Tesla and the other automakers two different categories there. And I'm not talking about in terms of number of vehicles sold or anything else like that. I could take the names off of everything, show you the two different sets of financials, and you would think one was a tech company and you would think one was, a legacy, automaker or some other legacy debt-ridden business with all kinds of albatrosses that make it impossible to turn profits, much less actually grow into the future there, regardless of how many more cars they can sell or anything else like that. There's just too much there. There's too much junk. They almost need to go bankrupt to kind of restructure everything, revamp everything, and come back a lot stronger on the back end. So that right there to me is the reason why I would never consider a car multiple, because when I sit down, even though they're in the same sector, they sell exactly the same type products. I realize one's EV, one's ICE, whatever. In regards to overall, it's car sales, vehicle sales. Whenever I look at those two, they're so vastly different. I have to give Tesla the higher multiple and not even look at the multiple of the other one, because those are dying companies. Those are terrible companies from a company perspective, from a business perspective, they are terrible. I would not own them. I'm not paying a 1 PE for Ford. Don't care. I don't want to own a business like that. Now, do I think they're going to go bankrupt? No, they'll probably get bailed out. There's all kinds of other, they'll issue bonds. They'll do all kinds of other things like that to keep the train rolling per se. But I have no interest in owning all those, and I absolutely be willing to pay a higher multiple for Tesla. And how long can this run last? I mean, shoot, at least into the next quarter, especially if the market continues to be red hot, money's going to come to Tesla. It's a trader stock, even at a mega cap stock. It's the only mega cap stock we talked about many times that trades like a, mid cap or small cap stock. That's just how it moves. It has forever, and that has not stopped despite the growth in stock price over time and the market cap getting larger. It hasn't seemed to matter. Even when they get up to the $1 trillion mark, it's still kind of almost a trader stock there in regards to traders pushing it up, pushing it down, and all kinds of other craziness in between. So absolutely, I'm enjoying the run right now through the end of the deal. Let's see what earnings comes. Obviously, if it can continue this run and then Elon kind of pull the rabbit out of the hat, which he hasn't been able to do the past few quarters here like he was last year. So if he's not able to do that again, obviously we're going to be in for some pain after that. But hey, you get a nice enough run into the earnings call. The pain may not be as bad as we thought it was going to be after the last earnings call, and that's good news for us as shareholders. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market, and click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.